as you mentioned gender, as one
Yep.
of the most successful women in Australian political history, you must surely be one of the darlings of the feminist movement. How's the sisterhood treating you, Pauline?
Oh dear, oh dear. You know what, Alexandra, I'm not a feminist, but I tell you what, I dearly love when a gentleman opens up the door for me, I actually thank him, and I think it's wonderful. I've got no problem with it whatsoever. I think these women that term feminist and think they can do everything themselves, good on them, no problem. But you don't push your wheelbarrow and don't ram it down my throat. I think it's important that men need to feel like they are men and you know, can do these little things for women. Women have come a long way in our society by all means, to when they never had the vote and, you know, jobs, and after the war, if they were married, they couldn't get a job. We've come a long way from then. You know, women have positions now that, you know, good on them. They've worked hard for it by all means, and I think congratulations. But we're heading down a path now where we are destroying the inner fabric of what, you know, men are these days, and we're belittling them, we're putting them down, they don't have rights anymore, and I don't like the way our society is going. So women need to, you know, feminists need to pull your heads in. You need to understand that, you know, it's about treating people with respect, whether male or female, equal rights, and treat people the right way.
Well, anyone who thinks that the group of women are going to be your biggest supporters have obviously never survived a private girls' school. I can tell you that much. But many have described you as Australia's first and only political prisoner. Did your perspective of politics in general and the nature of this political game change after you were put behind bars? Because that's quite a shock.
You know, funny you raise that, and I'll tell you this. When I asked John Howard and I spoke up about equality for all Australians, the Liberal Party said, you will apologise. I said, I'm not apologising to anyone. I don't need to apologise. So that's when I was thrown out of the Liberal Party. And I went down the Gold Coast to see my parents, and as soon as I, you know, turned up, my father said, why did you open your mouth? Dad didn't want me to run for politics, or, you know, he thought it was tough, but Dad didn't want me to buy a shop, my own business anyway. He thought it was too hard for a single woman. But anyway, he was proud of me with the business that I ran. But when it came to the politics, he said, you will never ever change anything. He said, it is a dirty game. And I said, you know, Dad, with people like you and your attitude, that's why nothing will ever change. I said, I don't know if I'm ever going to change anything, Dad, but I said, I won't know unless I have a go. And I said, I'm going to have a go. Well, Dad became my biggest supporter, and he saw the, you know, the change that I had made, and he passed away in 2006. But it's about, you know, standing up for what you believe in, Alexandra, and that's what I will continue to do. Going to prison was devastating to me. You have no idea, and what it did to my family. And it took me a couple of years to be able to deal with it without getting emotional, because it was, it's hard to describe what it is. But you know, I came out of there and I said I'd have to have rocks in my head to ever go into politics again. But, you know, a few years passed into 2003, and the party asked me to come back in late 2015, 14, which I did. So anyway, I'm proud of what I've achieved. I'm proud of the members of Parliament we've got elected across the country. And it gives people an opportunity to vote some other than the majors, because by having One Nation here, what we do is we force the political parties, like I said, the Liberals taken up a lot of my policies, we force them to actually start representing the people and look at their policies, because otherwise they're losing the vote to One Nation, and so is Labor and so are the Greens.
Yes, well, One Nation is exactly the reason we have the Westminster system, and that is to hold the other parties to account. But a lot of people never forgave anybody for you having to go to jail. And Australians know, historically and globally, that politics can be dangerous, but I don't think we ever expected to experience it here, because it's always been quite calm.